Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn, and in part one of my disc-bound album, I created the album cover and the pages of my album, which in actuality I am going to use it as a notebook, not as a photo album. And in this video, what I'll do is decorate it. So I am using the Not Too Shabby Life Begins After Coffee paper pad. This is part of the April 2024 paper pad club. And this paper pad does come with a coordinating ephemera pack if you choose to get it. I think it's just an option that you choose if you want to sign up for the club. And what I've done is I've cut these panels. There's actually a die in the small album die set that will cut your matte layer for your pocket pages, but it's exactly 6 inches tall. And since this is 6x6 pattern paper, I just hand cut it to 3 5/8 inch wide. That's what the die would do for you, but because it's exactly 6 inches tall, it's kind of hard to line up a die perfectly on a 6x6 piece of pattern paper and have it not clip a little bit. So I'd rather just hand cut these layers. And I have just picked out an assortment because I love this paper pad. This is probably right up there. Might be one of my favorites because every single pattern in this paper pad is a winner. There's not a single one that I find difficult to use. They are all really gorgeous, but I'm a little bit biased because I do love coffee, so I just about love everything coffee. So what I'm aiming to do is just lay a foundation on each of these pocket pages, and that's going to be it for some of the pages, and for other pages, I will actually continue to layer some more elements on top of it. But the pattern paper is just a really nice starting point. Because I'm converting this to be used as a notebook, what these pocket pages will actually end up being is not so much for actually displaying photos, but they are going to be dividers in my notebook. So in my part one video, I did cut down some plain old copy paper that I can use as notebook paper. And what I want to do for some of these pages is actually have it be a little bit of a title page so that I can maybe divide my notebook into different sections. So I can keep, maybe a section for brainstorming my DT projects and assignments. Maybe I want to keep a section for brainstorming mini when she wonder ideas. And I've really been enjoying the opportunity to design some of my own die sets, so I might have a section for that as well, just as I sort of brainstorm different die designs. And what's great about a disc-bound notebook is that, let's say I create something that is a great sketch for one of my design team projects, and I want to maybe set it aside for a future mini one-sheet wonder. Well, what I can do is I can just tear out that notebook page that has that sketch and then move it from, say, my design team section of my notebook over to my mini one-sheet wonder notebook section. And everything's going to fit back in, because when you tear your pages out, the disc-bound strip there, it's actually meant so that you can do that and not actually ruin anything. So you really aren't tearing anything. It's designed to actually lift out, just like how I pulled out each of these section dividers, and now I can fit them back onto the discs. And I can do that with my notebook pages as well. So one of the reasons why I really love disc-bound albums, because you have that flexibility. And so if I have an idea that's started in, one section of my notebook, I can always move it to another section in my notebook, without having to like redraw anything or anything complicated like that. It's just as easy as pulling the page out and then putting it where I want it. In the die set that I'm using to create these pages, there were some label dies that I thought would be kind of nice as section labels. So I've added that to some of my divider pocket pages. And here what I've done is I just cut down some plain old copy paper. So this is thin copy paper that I laminated. And I am going to round the corners of this. And why am I doing this? I thought it would be a nifty idea to actually use these as maybe pages that I can just write on for temporary lists. And I can use my dry erase markers to write straight on top of this. And this is just some clear laminate. So I laminated the two white pages, but I went ahead and used the entire sheet. So what was left over is just going to be clear acetate, but it's nice and thick actually. So I'm going to use this and make a page that can fit into my album that is going to be a clear page. So this page here, I'm going to do that same trick that I showed in my part 1 video, where I'm going to do a partial die cutting so that I can get those mushroom holes on one edge of it. And that way I can fit this into my disc-bound album or notebook in my case. And it will just be on its own a page that I can then write on top of. And since it's going to be basically just acetate and I'll be using a dry erase marker, I can just erase it afterwards. And that way I can continue to use this page for just temporary things. Like, I think to-do lists are good for it because then I don't have to like cut down and make more notebook pages to fit into this. I can just, wipe this clean and when I don't need it anymore, especially to-do lists, those aren't going to be anything that I want to keep forever and ever. There might be a sketch or something that I would want to keep or maybe have to come back to months later. So I want to use my notebook pages for things like that. And for things that are more temporary, I want to actually use these two panels on my clear acetate so that I can just wipe them clean. And so this is the other page. Now, when I glued down these pages, the pattern paper for them, I did sneak in there some magnets, really small magnets at the top and bottom. And so it's at this point that I am going to put the magnets onto some white cardstock that is the same size as what I laminated. And that way, this is, instead of making this perfectly clear, I can actually see the white through it so that I can write on top of this and still have visibility and still have a little bit of the pattern paper behind it showing. And as well, this is going to be removable because of the magnets there. And I'm hiding the magnets between this panel of cardstock that I have put my top magnets back on. So that way I know exactly where my magnets need to be, and this helps me to kind of line everything up so that when I get the laminated portion on top of this, it's going to be centered perfectly. And I can just glue my laminated panel right on top of this panel, just lining up those two white panels of cardstock or paper. And the reason why I use thin copy paper to go through my laminator is just so that anytime you laminate something that's thick, it has the potential of just creating a little bit of an air gap at the edge of the panel. And so I went with something thin just so that I can have something white in this panel, but I still need to hide those magnets. So that's why I'm attaching a second white panel behind this. That way those magnets are completely hidden. And the nice thing about these pages is that, one, they're laminated. So I can write on them with a dry erase marker, and I can just erase it when I want. They are magnetized, so I can actually remove them. And if I need, I can kind of put them right next to me as I'm working on a project, for example. And also, since they're removable and I made them a certain size, they will actually fit into my top loading pocket pages as well. So I can either attach them with the magnets or just store them away if I want in the pocket pages. So next, what I'll do is I thought I would actually add a pocket to our front cover. And here what I have is a die cut from the portrait album add-ons. So this had a bunch more accessories that you can add to decorate your small album. But what I did was, this is actually the pocket that has the fancy edge, and I was just die cutting from some scraps. So I left off that fancy edge because in any case, what I want to do, I just want to attach this on the bottom edge and on the outer edge. And I cut a little bit of an angle. So that way the top of the pocket is open and the right side or the inside edge is completely open. It makes it a lot easier to slide things into this pocket. And it's a nice big roomy pocket. So it's going to be able to hold a lot. And in fact, what I end up doing is I did cut a lot of extra notebook pages down, but I haven't die cut the disc-bound holes into them yet. So I'm just going to sneak these in here so that I have them, and when I need them, I can go ahead and add the holes and then fill or refill my notebook with them. And so now I've got my cover to decorate. And so again, I've just got some pattern paper here from Life Begins After Coffee, and I've got, this might be my favorite print. It's completely black and white, and it's just got a lot of different graphics that are coffee beans, coffee cups, and coffee machines even, so it's really, really lovely. Then I have this espresso machine, which actually kind of looks a lot like the machine that I have in real life. And that's from the stamp of the month for April of 2024. So keeping it really simple. And I made this thinking I might give it away to a channel member at the end of the year, but I'm actually thinking I'll keep it and use it for myself. So here's a final close-up look of at my album. Actually, after this, I did go back and add some of the ephemera to decorate some of the pages a little bit, not a ton, but just a little bit, because this is going to be more of a functional notebook. So I kind of want to save my ephemera for cards and other things. So since I decided that I'm going to keep this for myself, I'm not going to use up too much of my not too shabby supplies on this. So I want to save some of those, but I did dress it up just a smidge with a few pieces of ephemera here and there. So here's a nice little flip through of the various different pages and features. So this is the magnetized page with these panels that are laminated so that I can write on them, design things that are just temporary, keep temporary notes. When I'm done, I can always slip them into the pocket pages to store, and I'll be just using a dry erase marker like this one, and that way it's I don't have to keep on adding a ton of notebook pages to this. And then I've also got some additional features like a completely clear acetate page. And what I did was I just put a plain white notebook page behind it. That way, when I write on this, I can actually see what I'm writing. And again, that's just a nice temporary place for all of these. And for the divider pages that I have this label, I have laminated those as well. So that, maybe as I get to using this, if I want to kind of change up the sections and what I want to use this for, I can always relabel those also. So I've really made this so that I can continue to customize it. I can use it for whatever I need. And if that need changes over time, then I can actually change it and adapt it to suit my needs over time. And the reason why I went to the extent of making everything kind of laminated so that I can adapt it here and there is because I did use that paper leather for the spine. I doubled up on the cover pieces. So I feel like I've made the cover durable so that it will last. I made the hinges on each of the pocket pages durable out of that paper leather. So all of this is designed to really last. So if that's the case, then I do want it to be able to adapt and change it as I use it more and as my needs change. I hope that you like my project today, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day. Thanks. Bye.